Yes, indeed, folks, you listen to Blue Please for the last time on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. CynicalBrit.com is the place to go. Now, if you wondered why, if you're listening to the stream, that the site goes down, we just discovered that the server we have does a backup at exactly the same time that Blue Please runs. Needless to say, we are getting that fixed, but it breaks the server while it's going on. Whoops! Okay, it's a good job we're still in beta. That'll be sorted out for next week, I can guarantee that. Right, so. Always nice to check out the US forums every now and again. There's a couple of reasons for that. I actually like the US forums a lot better than the EU ones, mainly because they're not as whiny. But, because then they play a little bit fast and loose with the rules. As in, you can't say anything mean on the EU forums. Apparently it's against the rules to humiliate people. Oh no, humiliation! But on the US forums, they don't have a problem with that, and there's a lot more posters on there, so you get much bigger, cooler threads. So, there's one here that I find rather amusing, and I think it is an important topic to address. And it surrounds the recent release of information about a certain mount called Invincible. Now, before I go on, let me just say that any of you who are really concerned about Invincible need to seriously rethink your priorities. No, really, you do. It's a freaking mount. It's not even a very good one. Look at it. Just go look at it. If you're already in the IRC channel, I'm sure that Stormtamer will link you the under development images for this thing. Or perhaps the video on MMO Champion of Invincible. Go have a look at it. If not, head over to worldofwarcraft.com, Invincible Rising. You see the link, third one down. Have a look at it. It's a freaking horse. Guys, it's a horse. It's just a flying horse. That's all it is. It's not even that good a flying horse. It's a bloody flying horse. And you know what? People are getting up in arms about the flying horse. Why? We shall find out. Maddie Oaks of Core and Dentag US is annoyed. He is furious, ladies and gentlemen. Why does Blizz hate 10-man guilds, he asks. There are too many examples to list. We know it's true. I just wonder why. Yeah, this is what I love about the US forum posts. They're so much more lively than the EU. They come up with all these crazy assertions. It's like, here's the default position. We all know that Blizzard hates this class, or this method of raiding, even though there's no evidence to prove that whatsoever. But of course, displayed as fact. Land of the free, ladies and gentlemen. Land of free speech, regardless of how stupid it happens to be. It's wonderful. I do love the US forums for that reason. At least they speak their mind, whereas on the EU forums, they're so bleeding heart and timid and disgusting. He asks, why not have good gear drop in 10-man raids also? Why not the good stuff for us? Right, okay. You idiot. Let me show you. Let's go on a trip, ladies and gentlemen, as we have so many times before, to Wowhead. Oh yes, Wowhead. Get on over there, ladies and gents. Now, you go to Wowhead, and you go to Database, and you go to Zones, and you go to Raids. Click that. Now, click on Icecrown Citadel. There you go. Now, at the top, you should see normal 10-man drops and normal 25-man drops. I would like you to scroll down to the item that I seem to have completely forgotten. Man, I've forgotten my own item. Yes, Frost Needle, its name. I have this weapon. It is an item level 251 sword, a caster sword that drops off of Lord Marrowgar. And it's reasonably statted, yes indeed. Go and have a look at the stats. Is it delicious? It is, as it happens. I like it, I think it's very, very nice. Now, I would like you to head on over after that to normal 25 drops. Now, I assume that there is an equivalent sword. Would I be correct in that assumption? I'm pretty sure I would be. So let's scroll through the items. It's not on page 1. Let's have a look at swords on page 2. There's one on page 2. We could look at that one. It's not the only one. But let's have a look at that one nonetheless. Bear in mind, this is from Professor Putricide. Yeah? And it is called Rigor Mortis. Yes, indeed, Rigor Mortis. Go and have a look at it. Go and have a look at the stats and do a comparison between this drop from Marrowgar 10, which quite frankly, is incredibly easy. And Putricide 25, which is not. And look at the difference. The difference in item levels to start with is 13. Yes, 13 item levels difference. Now you say, Total Biscuit, that's very odd. Really, is it? Let's look back to Nax, shall we? What is the item level difference, ladies and gentlemen, between 10-man and 25-man Nax gear? 200 and 213. Wait a minute, that's 13 item levels. I'm seeing a pattern here. Shocking, shocking, shocking. Yes, indeed. So, the difference between these, bearing in mind, of course, that Putricide is hard as hell and that loot should be better, it's not that big. So, are you telling me, Mr. Paladin, Mr. Maddie Axe, that my Frost Needle is not good gear? Good stuff? No, it's good. It's perfectly fine. In fact, on some encounters, I'd say it's a little bit overkill. It's good equipment. It lets me do exactly what I need. That's the important thing. It is entirely suitable for the content I am doing. There's plenty more examples. Now, he goes on. Question, is the mount available in 10 and 25-man Heroic? Answer, Invincible will only be available in 25-man Heroic encounter with the Lich King. Why not make 10-man content just as hard as 25-man and give both the same rewards? Right, you dumbass. One, it's impossible. It is impossible. Completely and totally impossible to balance encounters so that somehow 10 and 25-man are equally difficult. 25-man, by its very nature, is harder. And some of you may turn around and say, Total Biscuit, what are you talking about? Sure, surely 10-man. All of the guys, you know, there's no room for error with a 10-man. Yeah, you're right. But if you design your encounters properly, there can be no room for error in a 25-man either. And that's where it gets way more difficult, because coordinating 25 people not to stand in the fire is harder than coordinating 10 people to not stand in the fire. There's less potential for mistakes in a 10-man than there is in a 25-man. That is fact. And this is coming from a dedicated 10-man raider. I only raid 10-man these days. I used to raid 25. I only raid 10 now because I prefer the style. However, I accept that the encounters might not be as difficult. I accept that the loot will not be quite as good, and you know why? Because it's easier to get a 10-man group together than it is a 25, and it's easier to beat the content with 10 than it is for 25. That is a fact. And you're gonna have to accept that. We had an anomaly back in the day in the form of Sartharian 3 Drakes 10. No longer the case. That is not how they went. Yeah, sure, there are some 10-man hard modes that are maybe around the same difficulty, but it is the exception and not the rule. There is no attempt to balance the 10-man content to make it as hard as the 25-man, and there shouldn't be either. You have to accept this. There has got to be one of them being considered better than the other. It's just got to be the case. You know, I made the argument back in the day that, hey, maybe we should have equivalency, but you've got to realize it's now impossible to reach this level of equivalency. And we're not even talking about something that matters here. That's the thing which really irks me. It's like, oh, well, why can't we have everything they have? Well, one thing, you can't have the mount drop from 10-man and 25-man. You want to know why? Because it's 100% drop rate. That's the point. It's 100% drop rate, just like the Mimiron's head from a particular hard mode. And that means that you can get 2 people in your guild a week this mount instead of 1, because of course 10-man, 25-man, you get extra loot. Why not give us the same loot? Because you get extra of it in 10-man, and that would be ridiculous. Why raid 25-man if 10 gives the same loot, and if 10 gives you more opportunities to get nice little things like mounts? Why would you do it? You probably wouldn't. A lot of people will take the path of least resistance. They already have. 10-mans are easier to get together than 25s. Some people like 10-man raiding, some people like 25, but you don't want people to abandon the idea that 25-man is what you should aspire to if you are really serious about raiding. Or if you have enough people. If you want to be part of something a little bit more epic. Yes, I did just say epic. If you want that, then 25-man raiding is the way to go. There are mounts available from 10-man, as there have been through the entire expansion. And you know how? Yes, they come in the form of the achievements that are tied into those. The Glory of the Raider, Glory of the Ulduar Raider, Trials of the whatever it is, Secrets of Ulduar, things like that. It's all there, and they both have 10 and 25-man level rewards. guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's one for Ice Crown as well, and you get a Frostworm that is a different kind of Frostworm to the 25 man. So what, you want the shiny mount? You want the stupid winged horse? The undead Pegasus? Likely to fall out of the sky at any moment? I can tell you for a fact that it is not airworthy. I would not fly, and I would not have my tray tables in the upright and locked position where I fly on that bag of bones. And you've got to also understand that the value of nice, nifty items like that depreciates the more of them they are. So you have to gate it. You have to ensure that not everyone has one, because otherwise, what's the point? It was the issue with, let's have a think, all these silly pets. The pug, yeah? And the little corehound pet. And the penguin. Stuff like that. Those pets, you barely see them. Really, you do. I walk around Oakham, I barely see those pets. One or two, maybe. You want to know why? Because everybody has them. They mean nothing. They are of no intrinsic value whatsoever as a direct result of that. The value depreciates the more people have them. The value of my Murky pet, for instance, because it's the only one on the server, that is huge. Both monetarily, I might add, and in terms of sentimental value. It's unique. That's what players want. Players want to distinguish themselves from others. They don't want to be the same as everybody else. They want to be special. Everyone wants to be the hero. And they have to do that in any way they possibly can. One of those ways is to have something unique. Having that mount is something unique. Not a lot of people have it, so it's cool to ride around on. It's a status symbol. It's just to become a status symbol if everyone drives one. Like, would Porsche cars be so special if everyone drove a Porsche? No, they become a baseline car. You might as well be driving around a Ford Fiesta. It makes it special because it's uncommon. That's the point. So no, not everyone gets it. Not everyone can have it, folks. That's just the way it goes. And you know what? You're gonna have to accept that. I know people sometimes whine and complain, but you have to accept it. Really, you do. My name is Total Biscuit, and you are listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I will be back after the break with more of your emails for the illusion of choice. Oh, yes. There's something I've always wanted to play. I'm going to play this one. It's 1 Minute Silence. It is a more violent approach. It contains strong language. It's really fun. You know what? Because it reminds me of one of my first great MMO experiences. This was the soundtrack to one of my kill videos on PlanetSide. The Memories. And it was with the guild, the clan that I joined WoW with in the first place. The Memories. It's poignant, and it's entirely offensive. If you don't like that, tune out now. Enjoy.